This is the Fatboy Show on RX Radio, and I am Fatboy. How are you doing today? Hope you are doing great, and I hope you are keeping safe. You gotta be. Oh, this country is increasingly becoming more and more dangerous. I don't know, man. Is it that we don't have law enforcement that is competent enough to apprehend criminals before they commit crimes or even after, which is why they kind of feel like they can just do it and get away with it? Or is it that people are so desperate, with poverty and other forms of strife that they feel cornered and have no other option but to engage in crime in order to feed themselves and their families? For whatever reason, me personally, I fail to see how crime of any kind can be justified. And so for those who would take it upon themselves to attempt to hurt others because they want to gain some form of material benefit, whether it's money or something else, I can't condone that. And I will always condemn you. I will be the first to condemn you, even if you do so by using a fake pistol or a toy gun. This was the case when thugs robbed a Nansana businessman using a toy gun. Police in Nansana have arrested one of the three suspects that were allegedly involved in a robbery of businessman Robert Ponsiano Ssenyange, which resulted in the theft of his money and also his mobile phone. Yeah, they took his cash and phone. Now, this incident occurred over the weekend around 11 p.m. Now, the assailants wearing security camouflage approached the businessman brandishing a pistol and an SMG rifle. They demanded that he surrender everything in his possession. Now, the victim complied, wisely, if you ask me. I mean, it's one thing to be robbed, and it's another thing to be robbed and be robbed by a toy gun. Thing is, when you're being robbed, when you have that gun pointed at your face, how can you even tell if it's real or not? I don't think you're going to have the frame of mind to study the weapon to see if it's real or not. You would be a fool to do so, because if you dare hesitate while they ask you for your money or your phone, who knows? If it turns out to be a real gun, they'll probably blow your head off. So you'd rather just give them what they want and just keep it moving. And if it turns out that it was a toy pistol, well, you still would have done the right thing, because you primarily thought of your own life, which I think is the most valuable thing. Your life is valuable than even the most expensive iPhone ever created. So please, never second guess when someone points a gun at your face and demands a phone. Just give it to them. I don't care what's on the phone, whether nudes or what. Let them leak. At least you'll be alive. So police arrested one of three suspects, and the victim, having complied with the alleged thieves that were demanding money, he gave them his Samsung phone and 850,000 shillings. Now, during this encounter, he raised an alarm, apparently, causing the assailants to flee. And they took off. I don't know if I would have done that with a gun pointed at my face, even if it's a fake one, because I wouldn't know if it's fake or not. By raising an alarm, don't you risk causing them to panic or them wanting to silence you by ending your life right then and there on the spot? Well, this guy, I guess, was thinking different thoughts. So during the encounter, he raised the alarm and the assailants fled. And this drew the attention of local residents who pursued the suspects. Yeah, they followed them, they chased them, and eventually they were forced to abandon their vehicle at the roadside before fleeing to safety. Police impounded the vehicle, and then they launched a search for the suspects, and they managed to arrest one of them. And during the interrogation, he led the police to the location where they had hidden the alleged gun that was used in the robbery. And surprisingly, they found that it was, in fact, a toy pistol. Anyway, the deputy police spokesperson, Luke Oyesijire, is confirming that the police are still actively searching for the remaining suspects to ensure that they are brought to justice for the robbery. So I don't know, maybe in future, in case you're concerned about whether or not you might be robbed by a toy gun, because if you are going to be robbed, I can see how you would rather that it's an actual gun so that it would make sense to part with your possessions. You'd feel like a real sucker, wouldn't you, if you were robbed and it turned out to have been a fake gun? You'll kick yourself saying, why didn't I just refuse? I should have dared them to pull the trigger and laughed in their faces as I mocked them for carrying a toy gun. But how would you know? Maybe you can walk around carrying a metal detector so that next time they brandish a gun at you, put it pointed at your face, you can whip out the metal detector and then see if it sounds an alarm, and that's how you would know that it's an actual real weapon rather than some plastic gun. And then once you can determine that it's a toy, you can refuse to comply, and I guess they'll let you go. I don't know, man. That's pushing your luck. And besides, by the time you're pulling out the metal detector, when they already view that as an act of aggression, they might think it's a weapon and you want to beat them over the head with it. And they might end up hurting you. So I think best case scenario always is if you're confronted by people who are threatening you and want something, you're probably better off just handing it over and hope that they are later apprehended. I would hope that in the case of this guy that was robbed, that they are able to help him recover the money that they stole, the $850,000, and I guess the Samsung phone, because he's a spicy pigs. I'm sure he'd want them back. Yeah, do your job, police, and let's maintain law and order as we head into the holiday season. And do keep listening to The Fatboy Show on your number one station, RX Radio.
RX Radio.